Welcome, welcome, welcome. Manifesting using the law of assumption is something we do naturally. We just didn't know that our thoughts create our reality. Now we do. Now it's time to be conscious creators. We were unconscious creators. Now we're conscious creators, which means now we manifest on purpose. All right, now we know what we're doing. Now we know thoughts turn to things. And it's our attention to whatever. It's our attention that gives life to every situation. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so it's really not how to manifest. The question is, what are you manifesting? And a more deeper question is, what are you focusing on? Because that's what you're manifesting, what you're giving your attention to. You know, your thoughts, your beliefs, your core beliefs, those deep-rooted, deep-seated beliefs. And it's just about time to take the limitations off. Hey Lola, hello. This is what we're doing in this calendar year we call 2025. We're breaking off limitations, right? We're going to stop talking about how hard life is, how difficult it is, how challenging it is. And just allow ourselves to experience the present moment. And really sit with yourself and decide what is it that you want. Like, really sit with yourself. Hello, Teresa. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, iGlaze. Hello. Hey, that girl. Okay, so you know what to do. Revise the story, right? Right, that girl? It's time for you to revise the story. Hello, Lakeem, Elijah, welcome, welcome. Oh, you said you got your first notification? I'm on cloud 9. Yes, yes. You know, let's celebrate. Wow! We love to hear good news. Wow! It's beautiful. Hello, Denise. Hello. Exactly, Wanderer. Yes, Wander-inger. Yes. Yes, be committed. Yes, I enjoyed your life today, Denise. Absolutely, committed. Absolutely, that girl. So, what you have to, we're living in the end, right? So we're no longer saying that we had a disagreement, we had an argument. That does no longer exist in your current reality, in your now moment, right? So now that you are friends, what is it like? You know, start thinking about what that looks like right now. You can revise what brought you to this point. You can say, what actually happened was, we didn't even have an argument. There was no disagreement. That didn't even take place. That situation never even occurred. Right? And if you feel like that doesn't resonate with you, then forgive them in your mind and imagine that you are all that is just like it used to be. Enjoying one another, spending time with one another, talking on the phone, going out, they coming to visit with you, you going to visit with them, right? Because you have to make that your current reality. And you have to let go of the past hurt, the past situation. You have to act as if that never took place. Because in order for you to move forward, you have to what? Not look back. So you can't look back. You can't keep bringing up old situations, old past hurts. None of that. You have to completely let that go. You have to completely see yourself, see your friend, that relationship from a different perspective. And I know it works because many of you have heard the story I told about, revising a relationship with my husband and his ex-wife, revising a disagreement I had with a cousin of mine. So revision definitely works. And it's, of course, revising when I decided to be a better parent, a different parent. And I also use revision for that as well. Hello, John Fast. What does what even mean? Oh, thank you, Denise. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Hello, Joe. Hello. You're welcome. You're welcome. Those that I bring up in the box are those who are in alignment with this platform. This platform is not a platform in which I try to convince anyone of anything or that I look to have a debate with. That's not what this platform is about. This platform is truly for those who are desiring to transform their thinking so they can create the reality that they desire to experience. Hello, Megan. Hello. Rather, Amanda. Hello, Heatherland. Welcome. And so I believe I already answered your question, saving with John. Ooh, happy birthday to you. All right. It's Capricorn. You're a Capricorn, right? Is it Capricorn season still? Right? Yes. Happy birthday, Amanda. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Wow. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yes. Yes, Heatherland. And it's so important that you don't bring up the old story, right? Not bringing up the old story is so important to revision. You have to completely remember it differently. You have to, and here's the best way to get over the old story. Forgive, as I tell everyone, is twofold. It means to forget, and it also means to give forth. So to forget means that we're not going to keep bringing it up and talking about, well, you did this and you said that, and remember when that happened, and remember when this happened. We're letting all of that go, right? Forget, let go, leave the past in the past, and we're never going to resurrect it ever again because we're not going to shed light on the old story. And you also want to give forth that what you would like to receive. So you give understanding, you give grace, you give compassion, right? Because you want it in return. So in order to get it, you first have to send it out. You have to be it in order to see it. In order to experience the thing you want in the relationship, you actually have to be the person. You have to be the light. Be the example. Even when they may be showing signs of the situation not changing. Even when the circumstances seem to be like, oh, they still acting the same way. Oh, they don't know how to forget. It's not about them. It's about you. Once you change, they'll change, right? Because your world is a magnified mirror. Once you've changed your mind and the way you think, your thoughts, right? Your thoughts is what's creating the reality. And so we don't let circumstances dictate, right? And we're going to stick to the new story, the new script. And because we've written a new script, we're telling a new story. We have to rehearse it within ourselves. And then if they come and they're playing a role for a script you didn't write, you say, oh no, that's not the script I wrote for you. No. And you're saying this in your mind. You're not saying it to them. You're saying it within yourself. If they come showing you the old story, you say, oh no, that's not the story I gave you. Go back and rehearse it. That ain't it. I wrote a new script. You're not playing your part right. Okay, that means I need to go back within and I got to keep forgiving. I got to keep forgetting the old state and not react. That's so key. Don't react, because you're reacting to it is you giving it attention, and guess what you're doing? You're recreating it. You're giving it life once again. Thank you, Build. Thank you. Hey, Kevin. Hey. You coming up, Kev? Absolutely, Heatherland. Absolutely. Yes, Zay, you're so welcome. And thank you for coming. Thank you. Hey, Olive. Hey. I say, how y'all doing, other me's? I love that. Hey, I love that, Olive. Oh, thank you, Heatherland. Yep. Nice, Bill. Hey, Artleys. Hello. Ooh, all right. All love. Yes. Hey, April. She got those hot wings.
Wow!
Okay, Kev, you have to put the request in. Hello, I am 36912. How are you? Oh, boneless. Those not wings. That's chicken breast. I always wonder why they call chicken breast chunks boneless wings. What? It's breast meat. It ain't wings. Your body returns to the earth. That's what happens. Janae, your body returns to the earth and your spirit lives on forever. Spirit never dies. It's eternal, infinite. Hey, Sunflower, welcome. So you hate autocorrect. I know, right? Autocorrect, boy, it be messing with you. Bringing Kevin up. Kevin's up to join us. Hello, Kevin.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great as well.
Another happy manifesting Monday. We manifest all the time, not just on Mondays.
I know, right. Exactly. All the time. Exactly. That's
wonder if
it,
anybody
Amanda.
has
Reject the
fun.
old story.
I wonder if anybody has fun manifesting. Just practice being who they are. You know, to really being awoke to the power that's within you. Just manifest for fun. Whether it's something simple Like your favorite ice cream, favorite dessert,
Yep.
whatever.
Whatever.
Just have fun with it.
Absolutely.
I know I had to fly to Illinois,
No S
and
on the end. We don't pronounce that S on the end, Kevin.
oh, sorry, Illinois.
You know, I gotta have fun with you.
No, no problem at all. And I had I had the money to buy a ticket, but a plane ticket, but I didn't want to pay for it out of my pocket. I just wanted to have fun with knowing who I am.
Nice.
So I envisioned in my mind not paying for the ticket. Even though I envisioned it, I bought the ticket anyway.
Mhm.
I hadn't packed or, got my passport and, got to the airport yet. I just envisioned, you know, before I had to leave, weeks before I leave, that I wasn't going to pay for it. So when I finally got to the airport and got to where my terminal where I was leaving, there were a lot of military personnel going on the same flight. And I have, I don't know what it is, but people just love to talk to me that I don't know. Strangers just love to come up to me and talk to me. So I was talking to this one guy, and he was military, and I was thanking him for his service. And he asked me, was I military? I was like, no. I said, my son is. And he said, oh, well, thank your son for his service. I said, sure, well, I'll tell him. He's a Marine stationed out in San Diego. And we were just chatting. He was telling me where he was going, blah, blah, blah. And in the middle of our conversation, the attendant at the desk said, is there anybody willing to go on a later flight and give up their seat on this flight? Well, there was no urgency that day for me to be in Illinois. So I went up to um, the counter. I said, I'm not in a major hurry, so I'll take it. And she said, well, we appreciate that. We're going to give you something like a $1,800 credit
Wow.
on your flights. I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
I know, right?
And my ticket didn't cost nowhere near that.
Right.
And she said, matter of fact, she said, I was at BWI, and she said, there's a flight leaving out of Reagan International that you could catch that and you still would make your connecting flight in Dallas. I said, oh. I said, okay. She said, well, you don't have to worry about transportation because we'll cover that. We're going to have a cab waiting for you and your luggage already packed. Just take this voucher and give it to the cab driver. I was like, okay. So I still caught my connecting flight. My trip was paid for there and back, and then future trips that I made,
Nice.
going back, to conduct what business I wanted to handle in Illinois. So just having fun with it, because I know who I am,
Yes. Yeah.
and I don't have to be arrogant about it. I can just enjoy it.
Yep.
So I want to encourage all of our listeners, yes, something as simple as that. Now, if I needed the money, for example, to go to catch a plane because I had to do something, and my bank account says Well, you may want to go, but ain't no money in your bank account to take care of it. So how do you still manifest that happening? Now, when you worry or let your 3D influence how you think, you have whatever it is you give your attention to. So if you give your attention to, I don't have the money, or I'm lacking the money, or I need the money, that's walking in lack. So the universe interprets that and say, oh, yes, you don't have it, more of that you will get. It's like telling the universe, more of that, please. Can I have more of that? Worry is the same thing as fear. They operate out of the same low vibration energy. Somebody saying something nice, Kevin. But I really want the listening audience to really embrace how wonderfully, powerfully, unlimited power that they do have within. And don't take it as something light. Take it very seriously, but have fun with it, because you are what you think you are. Now, how do you have something, or how do you be something in order to have something? So let's explore that a little bit. How do you be? Well, the 3D says, I'll believe it when I see it. But that's not who you are. Who you are is you see it through your belief, then you have it. So how do you be it in order for the universe to respond that you have it, that you're actually walking in it? Your imagination is probably the most powerful activating side of who you are. Your, there are other gifts that you do have, but your imagination is one of the most powerful. It activates those things that already exist in the universe, and you attract them, you bring them to you through being that which you are, because that by being it, you're going to project out your own reality.
Absolutely.
An example of that, um, I got so many things that I've manifested in my life. Trying to pick one. The one that I just shared with you about the flight to Illinois, I saw myself, well, I knew I had to fly to Illinois, so that wasn't hard to me imagine, because I had business in Springfield that I had to attend. And so it wasn't hard going to imagine flying to Illinois. And it wasn't hard for me imagining the universe taking care of it. You know, because does the universe have the money to do it, or the means to do it? It absolutely. I just knew I didn't want to pay for it.
Right.
You know, somebody could have just, the airline could have just sent me a voucher in the mail. You know, congratulations on your 10th, booking with us. Whatever. I don't tell the I don't tell the universe how to do it. The universe knows how to do it. God doesn't need my help. Like Toya, if you ask me to run to the store and grab your item, do you really care whether I take a car, whether I take a Uber, or do I, take a bicycle?
Right.
You don't care as long as I bring you the item you're looking for in a reasonable amount of time. You're good with that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when you put something in the mail. Do you track you can get a tracking number to make sure that the item, if it doesn't arrive in time, you can track to see what happened to it. But you no longer worry whether or not that envelope is going to get to where it's going to.
Right.
You know it's going to be delivered to the person or place where it's supposed to go.
Yes.
You don't sit there and worry. You don't. I hope you don't. I hope you don't call the post office every couple of hours saying, are you sure you got it? Are you sure the guy that they call in sick that day, are they really going to deliver it? You don't do that. When you
Mm-hmm.
order something from Amazon, do you care how it was delivered? Was it on the truck or was it the carrier used a personal vehicle? You don't care. You just get the item.
Yep.
So worry, fear blocks that thing that you are trying to manifest. And what you end up manifesting is the thing that you don't want. Because even that is a form of manifestation.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you're always manifesting, whether you're getting what you want or getting what you don't want. That is a form of manifestation. It's who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm.
Yep. I love giving us examples of circumstances getting in the way of the manifestation. Thinking that there's traffic or it's not in stock or that the
Mhm.
parcel fell in the ocean.
Mhm.
You know.
True. Got lost on a desert island somewhere, like Castaway.
Yes.
Him with the FedEx package, for years. No, we don't worry about it. The universe is more than capable of bringing that which we want to directly to us. In the religious setting, we used to say, "What God has for me is for me."
Yes.
What
Yes.
you manifest is for you. That which you don't want and that which you do want. That which you manifest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But no, we don't, Janae. We don't. We're over here. We're not speaking ruin or destruction. That's not what the Bible is about. The Bible is psychological truth. The Bible is not judging the earth. Man judges the earth. That's the only being judging the earth is man. The mind of man, as Denise reminded us today, the mind of man is the mouth of God, right? As stated by, she was quoting Neville Goddard. This was going on in the mind of man. You're seeing portrayed in our world today. If men only knew the power of their mind, if men only knew the power of their mind, that they had the ability to create heaven here and now, what a wonderful world we will see. And here's the caveat: those who understand the power of mind only see beauty in the earth. Those who understand who they are can only see the beauty and not see destruction.
Mm.
But it's what eyes are you perceiving reality with? Do you have eyes too pure to behold iniquity? Eyes too pure to behold wrongness, to see error? Too many of us are looking or I don't know, rejoicing in evil And that's not love. Love doesn't rejoice in evil. Love rejoices in truth. We got to learn how to love. Love is the only transforming power. And without love, you will never see God, which means you'll never see good. If you don't know how to love, you'll never see God, which is synonymous with seeing good. Yes, yes, Joe. Yes. Because when we're all talking about the getting of things, which that's what a lot of us has reduced manifestation to, the getting of things. When it's more than just about the getting of things. It's who do you say I am? Who are you being? And living the end of the state of being the person, and then the things just automatically show up. They automatically show up when you know who you are, when you're being that person, when you're being in a state, when you're seeking first the kingdom of heaven and all of its righteousness and allowing the things to be added. When you seek the state that says, I am that, and continue to think righteously about it, think rightly about it. That's what righteousness is, thinking rightly about it, thinking the truth, knowing that there is no good thing that he withhold from you. And because you asked, I answered. The moment you spoke it, I did appear. So you already have whatever you asked for. It's just all about, are you going to accept it without needing any proof of the senses to confirm it? Yes, the good news is that the kingdom is found within you. That's the good news. Yep, yes. Oh, I like that, Katrina. There are always flowers for those who want to see them. Beautiful. Yes. And just remember, the Bible is psychological. Every story is a parable, is an allegory. The, consciousness does not destroy. Consciousness comes to fulfill. It's the mind of man, the carnal mind, that destroys. God doesn't destroy anything. Jesus says, I came not to destroy, but to fulfill. Right? The conscious mind seeketh not to destroy anything. The conscious mind knows that love is the only healing power, the only unifying power. And that's why you can have whatever you want, because of love. Because there's no holding back. No holding back. Whatever you desire, all that I have already belongs to you. All that I have is thine. And you just have to learn how to give it to yourself, which means how to lift the veil that blinds you from seeing your good. Because it's there. Just have to believe it. And we're so tempted to be confined to the concept of time. When is it coming? When is it coming? When is it coming? Where it's already there. And the only reason why you don't see it because you don't believe it's already there. And you keep it. But once you know, then the time construct and constraint will be loosed. That resistance to the truth, the worrying about when is it going to show up, dissipates because you have faith that it's already done and it shows up right on time. It's never late. It's always on time. Always.
Now, we used to have a saying, even though the word I'm going to use, if you're going to pray, don't worry. But if you're going to worry, don't pray.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And prayer is not asking for, something from your genie. Prayer is actually giving thanks.
Absolutely. That's it. You are your own genie.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Yes, we have to remember that we weren't given the spirit of fear. And too many of us operate in that mindset. And we have to learn how to. And what casts out fear? What casts out fear? Love. Love casts out all fear. So that's why we should learn how to love. And not even learn, but remember. Remember who you are. Accept that you are love. And what does that really mean to you? Like, what does it mean to be love? Like, how does, in a practical way, how does that show up in your reality?
It's interesting you asked that question, rather, um, from a, platonic side. Some people, because I've heard it said when you're being disciplined or you're disciplining your children through corporal punishment, through some type of spanking or hitting, you try to say this lesson that I'm giving you, I'm beating on you, is because I love you. And that don't feel or sound like love to me. If I could just be honest for a second, that don't feel like love, you know. And it's that's why I chose, in my way that I discipline my kids, and I do discipline them when they were, very little. But I didn't believe in giving out spankings. My wife and I decided we would, were intelligent enough to find other ways to get them to give them instructions without injuring them or hurting them physically. And I say that, there's always seemed like there's an exception to the rule. And my oldest son was that exception. I think I've only spanked him one time. And my wife at the time, she spanked him one time. And she came to me after spanking him. Did you ever make me do that again? Because she was crying more than he was.
Yeah, that's well, we know that's a programming when it comes to the corporal punishment, because I
Right.
mean that's how I was raised, and that's how I raised my children. Not till I came to a realization later on in life, But we do what we think is best, and a lot of times we're just doing because that's what we saw.
Right.
So we're just continuing the cycle, right? You
Right.
just continue doing because, well, that's how my parents raised me. Nothing came of me. And that whole mindset, especially in the African American community, is, oh, let me beat you so, you know,
Well, they try to use
officers
scripture.
don't get to you, and then they'll do something even worse to you, right? That's the mentality that we had. That I'll beat you before I allow someone else to beat you because they'll keep you on a straight and narrow. Like, we were such extremists, right? We were like, if I don't punish you in this way, you may end up in jail. Like, why was that the only option?
Well, they
Like,
also
why
try
was
to
that the only?
they
Why
would
were we
try to
so extreme in that mindset?
they would try to take it to the Bible and say, "Spare the rod, spoil the child," even though
Yeah,
that's not what that means.
right. That's not even scripture. I found out that's not even in scripture.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Ain't that something?
yeah, we
We
were
thought it
told
was biblical, but it's not even scripture.
not in scripture.
Mm-mm. No. Hey, A-Town, Chief Najee. Welcome, welcome all. Yeah, your thought is the currency of the mind. Invest your thoughts wisely. That's it.
I love it.
That's it. Yep, if you Google it, you'll see. It's not even. They said it was in some poem or something,
Okay.
and they attributed it to it was taken out of context, right? So there is a form of that scripture in there, but it's not as we say it, and it definitely wasn't how we used it.
Right.
But yeah, we have to the love part, right? But when you're asleep, and many of us have been asleep most of our lives in this incarnation, right? When you're asleep, you're just doing what you're told by others that are asleep. And some
Yeah.
of us have an innate knowing to say, no, just because I was raised that way, I'm not going to continue that cycle. I don't believe children have to be disciplined in this way, right? Because when you really think about it, and then especially when women grow up and they end up in certain relationships where the person is being physical with them, right?
Hmm.
And they're saying that they love them. So that's a disconnect, right? Because like, well, if my parents did this and they said they loved me, well, then how can I say that this person doesn't also love me? Because this was a way of showing love, right? So, but we know that that's not right. We know that someone in a in a relationship with a significant with a lover shouldn't be physically abused, then we should know we shouldn't also do it to children. But we make the disconnect. We didn't make that leap. We thought, oh no, we have to discipline children in this way because how else do they learn? How else do they know? How else can we communicate to them?
Yeah.
By talking to them. They can reason too.
Right.
Hello all, hello all, hello all. But that's a contentious type mindset when it comes to how we discipline our children and if corporal punishment should be used or not. But like I said, now you come to realization, love does not hurt. In no shape, form, and no capacity does love hurt. If love is hurting, and then it's not love. That's how you know. Absolutely. Love, man, it's the balm in Gilead. Like I say, when they say, is there a balm in Gilead to heal the souls? The balm is love. That's the only transforming power. That's what will cause you to see God in others.
And
Because
yes, and and if we are placed or feel like we're being pushed into a situation where we're not being lovely or we're not being an ambassador of love, then you already know you need to check yourself because that which is in you is not of God. So sometimes we can anger, but sin not. Well, sin means to act outside of love.
yeah. And I wouldn't say that it's not in you. I would just say you fell into a state. Right now, most people can't actualize love because they're in the sleep state,
Yes,
right?
I agree. I agree.
They're in a state of amnesia, in the state of forgetfulness. They do not know who they are. So really, they can't really choose love because of the state they're in.
Right. They don't have that option. I agree.
Right. That's why you have to remember the Bible is to the awakened mind. It's not to the mind that's asleep. The mind that's asleep cannot understand the Bible.
Right, they're at enmity with God.
Exactly. So it doesn't know how to interpret scripture. Yep, Rhea Mama. So I
Mm-hmm.
did want to address Rhea Mama regarding her manifestation. Kevin, if you want to speak to Rhea Mama, she says, I really want it. She says, sigh. I really want it yesterday. I believe, and it's sad that it's not here yet. Makes me feel I am failing aligning.
Feeling
At aligning.
at
At
a,
aligning.
I do understand that feeling, but I also want to say when manifesting or vibrating on that level of getting that which you're seeking, you have to be persistent, and you gotta not let the outside 3D influence or have a negative influence on your belief, like letting doubt creep in. If you had, uh, I don't know, if you owned a car that was blue, you purchased it because blue for was your favorite color, and you just liked the color blue. Now, what if everybody around you, everyone you talked to, you knew, you trusted, you seek advice from, told you that car was not blue? Would you eventually believe that car is not blue? Or would you say, are you kidding me? I purchased the car because it is blue. They said, no, it's more aqua than it is blue. You're like, what? It's blue. you know, you'll hear me on here quote, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Quote by Benjamin Franklin. You have to be certain that you're certain. Once you choose and make a decision on that what you're manifesting, you cannot be moved off of it. You're almost gonna say, how are they gonna tell me when I know that I know? And when you know that you know, that's when you're vibrating in that higher frequency that causes that which you want to manifest to come forth at being attracted to you and you it. And you can't be what they call mealy mouth about it or wishy washy about it. You got to be certain. You got to be you got to know it to the core of who you are. And if you can't know it to that degree, you won't be able to access it. I hope that helped.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Rhea Mama and Yeti, regarding your children, here's the thing with that. Once you let go of the guilt of raising them the best way you knew how, right? Here's the thing with this truth. With this truth, when you come into the realization of you know who you are, there is no more guilt or shame. Why? Because we're not living in the past and we're not beating ourselves up for choices that we made when we just didn't know. So you have the ability to revise how you raised your children and let the guilt go. Right? Because I did the same thing. I discipline my children in that way, and we have wonderful relationships. And here's the thing, I forgave myself. I'm not holding myself prisoner to the past, because the past doesn't even exist except in my mind. And guess what I get to do in my mind? I get to remember it however I decide to. I really do get to see the past differently. So you really could decide that you raised your children, which you did, in the best loving way possible. And they know that they are loved by you, supported by you. You're there for them, right? And once you release the guilt, your partner will reflect that back to you. So your partner is only reflecting back to you the guilt you're feeling about it. So your partner's your mirror, and your partner is telling you you don't like the choices you made as a parent when you were raising your children. And now you're feeling guilty about it because now you know differently. And so until you release the guilt, then your partner will no longer point the finger at you because you're no longer pointing the finger at you. But this is where love comes in. Because love doesn't remember past wrongs, right? Which means we forgive and we let go. And we put our mind and our love on the present moment, on the present reality. And we live from that state. See, if my version of it is feeling, hey Leslie, if my version of it is feeling confident and carefree without thinking about SP, is that correct? Here's the thing, do you want to think about your SP from a confident and carefree? We have to get out of the mindset of thinking that we're doing something wrong. We're not doing something wrong. It's about what choices do you want to make, and are we going to be steadfast and persist in the choices that we make? It's not a right or wrong. It's how do you feel about it? Is this how you want to perceive your SP? Is this the mindset that you want to have regarding your SP?
Can I mention something about the mirror?
Yes.
The mirror, our mirror is that which we project, our thoughts are projected outward. You cannot change the mirror. Like if you had a stain that was being reflected on the mirror, it's like trying to clean the mirror in order to clean off the stain. You cannot. You can wipe and wipe and wipe and wipe, and it's still there. It cannot be changed on the mirror. The mirror is a reflection. To clean the stain, you have to clean you. And then the removal of the stain will be reflected in the mirror that you're looking at. I hope that makes sense to somebody.
Makes sense to me.
I'm glad I could help.
Because I know the reflection doesn't change until you do.
Right.
You say don't start singing Michael again about mirrors. I know, right? Hey, Kay, hey. But that's the thing. So many of us try to fix the outside, the outer. We want everyone to change but us.
Yep.
That isn't how it works. You're like, why my husband, so mean and so nasty, and he always complaining and he's never happy. Why my kids, they so unruly, they don't listen, they don't behave. I just can't seem to. Why my sister, oh my goodness, she just so condescending and she's just so negative. My boss, they just don't like me. I don't know why they give me all the work, and every time they look at me, it's like they turning their lips up or their nose up at me. I know they don't like me. Who's the common denominator in all those stories.
Yeah.
And all of those examples. Everybody needs to be different but you.
Yeah,
No.
I agree. It's not a pleasant thing for you to take accountability and inventory of yourself when you see those things in others that you don't like, and for you to accept that it's really coming out of you.
Yeah.
It's not a it's a bitter pill to swallow. But it's honestly, if you look at it in the right way, if you didn't see those things that were wrong, how would you know to correct them? If
Yeah.
they didn't, if you didn't see anything that need to be corrected, how does it get resolved?
Yeah.
It has to show up and show you how to get back on that which you should be loving. And that's why it's so important to love, remember how to love yourself.
Yep. 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 And yes, Eli, that's it. Hello, Eli. Like living in the state of the desired outcome. That's what living in the end, right? The end is where we begin when it comes to manifesting our desires. We don't try to figure out how it's going to come, what we need to get it to bring it into our reality. All we're supposed to do is see ourselves as already being the person that has it. And when it comes to changing the self concept, I want us to understand it's not about finding wrongness, because we got to stop eating off the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's just an experience. You didn't know how to love you. Now you're remembering how. That's it. Because when you do a self-assessment of your concept of yourself, you don't want to come from a judgment perspective. We're not going to judge it. You didn't know, and that's the state you used to have. I was operating my life in ignorance. A lot of this stuff I didn't even know. I had no idea that my thoughts created my reality. I had no idea that all of these beliefs I had gained over the years from my parents, my environment, everyone that told me how to think, how to feel, how to act. I had no idea that a lot of that teaching was based in fear. It was fear based. And they thought they were doing it out of love, what they thought was love. They felt like they were trying to protect me and keep me safe and, all of that. And now, the only thing you're doing now is when you're taking assessment of the things you no longer want to be aligned with, that's all you're doing is taking an assessment of it. And you're paying attention and say, oh, okay, I no longer want to think that way. Oh, that's how I used to think. No, I don't want to think that way anymore. And then set about to change it. But when you judge it, you're justifying it. And then you're still binding it to yourself. That's why it's difficult for a lot of us to let go of these old behaviors, is because we're judging it. We're justifying the behavior. No need to justify it. No need to judge it. You just need to take notice of it. You just need to be aware of it. So, because it's the power of your awareness that allows you to make the change.
No more condemnation.
Exactly.
That's not just for everybody else, that's for you.
So,
Some
hey,
people,
Leilani, you said someone told me when you're insecure, those around you will harshly trigger it. The world truly is your mirror. Well, yes. When you're insecure, you create circumstances in your life that magnify your insecurity. Here's the thing. We just make sure that we're not placing the blame on others. They're just coming to confirm what we already think about ourselves. They're just mirroring back to us our beliefs. But it's really who's really judging? You're judging. You're judging it. Remember, it's all you. Yep. Insecurity is an illusion, just like time. Yep. It's only right. So stop judging you. Just stop it. You don't have to judge it. All you do need to do is stop thinking that way. That's it. You just need to stop thinking that way. And the way you stop being insecure is to learn how to gain confidence, to know that if everything is responding to me, right? That's what's going on. My world is infinite response. It's always responding to me. Now that I know this, how powerful am I? Right? Now I know that the only reason anyone in my world is acting the way they are is because of me. So then why wouldn't I change and be more confident and be more loving and be more kind? Because when I'm kind, I see kindness. When I'm love, I get love. When I'm happy, I see happiness.
Amen.
Yep. No one is a victim, because here's the thing. There's no one in your world but you. Everyone else in your world are just projections of you. You don't see others, you see your concept of them. Because how you experience them is not how their brother is going to experience them, their mother, their significant other, their boss. You're only experiencing your concept of them. So change your concept of them, you change your experience with them. It's your thoughts that you're seeing, not theirs.
I had someone that was sharing with me, a coworker, or maybe not a coworker, but someone that was at their job that they saw as very mean. They saw them as obnoxious, even a bully at times. I said, okay. I said, let's try this experiment. Even though you may not want to see them this way, in your mind, you don't need to sit them down and have a conversation, a one-on-one, go to meeting with Jesus type of conversation with them. But in your mind, how would you prefer them to be? And she said, kind, loving. She said, but that person isn't like that. I said, I know you can't see it at the moment, but see that in your mind. Seeing them as like a trusted, close friend that confide in you, you confide in them. That's just a beautiful relationship. And they said, all right, I'm going to try. I said, no, really sincerely do that and see what happens. And they called me back the next day. Guess what? You'll never believe it. I said, well, try me. I think I can. They showed up exactly the way they saw them. Like they became this wonderful new person overnight.
Yes.
And all they had to do was change how they saw them.
That's it. That's it. Beautiful. The reincarnation thing, I don't subscribe to. I don't get into the past life regressions. Not my thing. If there's only the eternal now, and there are parallel realities, and everything is happening now, how is there a past life? If everything is happening now, if we only had the eternal now, and even though our minds seem pick up things as linear, we've come to the, like, science confirms that everything is happening at the same time, that time is the illusion. We just said that time is the illusion, right? Time is the construct. It doesn't exist. Where does a past life come from? Here's the thing, you're a creator. You can create the reality. You can impress your subconscious that you experience lives in different at different times, different eras of time. You can say, "Oh, I was Queen Elizabeth at one time. I did a past life regression. I Queen Elizabeth." And then you can say, "Oh, I was, ain't nobody gonna say they was Hitler though. I bet you nobody ain't gonna attest to that. Everybody only want to attest that they were past lives of something that they liked. They don't identify with past lives of those things we don't like. People don't admit to what we consider to be wrong or evil. We only identify with that which we consider good. I actually like Dr. Joseph Murphy's explanation of incarnation. He said there's only one life, and he gave an example of someone who believed in past life regression and then someone who didn't. So the person that didn't, he went under hypnosis, and the hypnotist kept asking questions about a past life, and he was like, he couldn't give an answer to ever experiencing a past life. And then the hypnotist did it with another client or patient, and they could think of past lives because they were what? They believed in it. Whatever you can convince yourself of, you can experience. That's why I say we are creators. We can create. Like, we know fear is an illusion, but we can create and believe and fear other things through our mind and convince ourselves that something is there that isn't there. Right? You can convince a child of Santa Claus. You can convince a child of the Easter Bunny. You can convince a child of the Tooth Fairy. You can convince the child of the Boogeyman. Even though, and you will show them Santa Claus and they'll believe it, but you know that's a fairy tale. You know that said that you're Santa Claus. But you convince them that some other man in a red suit coming down the chimney is giving them gifts and that they better be. But that's just a form of manipulation, right? We use Santa Claus as a way to get children to behave in the way we think they should behave. And if they act according to our standards, then we'll bless them with gifts.
Amen.
And that's how we do God. We think God is blessing people based on behavior. No, God is blessing people based on belief. You get it or you don't get it based on your belief. Right, none of it is helping with this life. Yes. Hey T, what does it mean if you feel as though you have forgiven someone but they keep treating you badly? When you're making a change, T, to truly forgive someone, to truly forgive, which means you're no longer bringing up the past experiences, right? You're no longer bringing up the hurts and the wrongs, right? When you're making the change, the key to know if you've made a change is when they do something, you don't react to it. See, you want validation of the change instead of knowing the change is in you. When the change is clearly in you and you no longer react to your circumstances, which is their behavior, that's how you know you've changed. But every time you're like, I'm forgiving them, but there they go again. No, it's there you go again. It's not them. You're writing the script. And the only reason why they're still playing the same role is because you keep casting it. You keep writing the same script. But if you wrote a different script and stayed true to the script, and when they started to play the old role, tell the old story, and you didn't respond to it, that's how you know you've changed. Because you don't let the 3D confirm. The story is written in here, in your heart, in your mind. And you know they have to show you what you've changed. And if you keep responding, you keep affirming that you haven't changed. Yes, Kay. Yes. Oh, you're welcome, T. Yep. Everything, our world is responding to us all the time. We really are the author, the producer, the director, as well as the star in our reality. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, we're the cause. They're the effect.
The 3D is the world of effects. We think it's the cause. The 3D is never the cause. The 3D is the world of effects. The world of cause is in the mind. All is mental. It's as within, so without. And you hear too many people say as without, so within. But remember, the without is the effect. Don't get it twisted. The without has no power. No power. The power is from within. So yes, you can look on the outside to see what's happening on the inside, but never look at the outside to be the cause. It's just the reflection. That's all it is. Yes, all in the mind. The world is mental. You're the film, you're the projector, you're the light, and the world is a screen. Thank you, T. And so living in the end, you ask yourself, what is it that you want? What do you want? What do you want? And assume that you have it. It's like, well, how do I do that? How do I assume that I have it? How do I go about assuming that I have it? And see, this when it comes to, thank you so much, T. This when it comes to knowing thyself, right? Because you're always manifesting. And I can give you 10,001 techniques, right? I could tell you, well, do a mirror technique, do a 55 by 5, do this. I know for certain that you're always thinking. You can't help but think. That's something I know that you do. You think. So it's that inner conversation. Hey, user 433, it's the inner conversation you're having with yourself about your desire. And so you asked, you said, this is what I would like to experience. I would like to experience that. That's your belief right there. That's you believing because the moment you gave your attention to it was the moment you accepted it. How I know you accepted it? Because you're talking about it. So then guess what you have to continue to do? Keep accepting it. Keep believing that you already have it. So what you want to be mindful of is that you don't speak against it, which is being double-minded. Once you say that you have it, you then cannot go on talking as though you don't, right? So I've discovered that the quickest way to impress your subconscious with the belief that you already have a thing, repetition during meditation. Repetition during meditation as you're falling asleep. That's the most effective way to oppress the subconscious. Do the other ways work? Of course they do. Everything is always done according to your belief. I'm not going to say techniques don't work. Of course they do. But is every technique going to work for you? No, but meditation is not a technique. Repetition is not a technique because you always talking anyway. And guess what? You're most of the time double speaking. You're always pushing your desire away by talking about how you don't got it, talking about how you don't see it, talking about how you gonna get it, giving all kind of reasons is why it can't manifest. So you're manifesting the very thing you don't want to manifest is what? Not having your desire. Because you keep telling yourself you don't have it. So guess what? You don't have it. You keep telling yourself, I don't see it. I don't see it. Where is it? What is it? Why is it taking so long? Oh my goodness. This. I can't believe it's taking so long. It should have been here. I've been doing this for 2 weeks. Who said, they said that, 24 hours. They said, it takes 2.5 seconds. These people that give you this clickbait because they want you to hire them as a coach, and they can come on TikTok and YouTube and tell you, oh, my client, they manifested in 24 hours, or my client, they manifested overnight. And they're not even telling you that these people have been asking for this desire for 6 months. Now, I'm not saying that you can't manifest overnight or in 2.5 seconds. Most manifestations don't happen that way because you came here to experience the unfoldment. If you just wanted things to appear the moment you thought about it and you saw it physically, there's no reason to be in a physical body. There's no reason to be here in this body. That's not why you came. You came here for the experience of the unfoldment, of showing yourself that you can persevere, be persistent, steadfast, that you don't allow whatever's going on around you to dictate. You're reminding yourself of how powerful you are. Some of us don't like the experience of growth, of progression. Like, why don't you want to see the flower bloom? Why don't you want to see when you plant the seed and you see the little budding come up? And you're like, I'm looking so forward to that rose blooming. And then you see it coming, it's all closed in. And then you're like, oh, any day now. Because you know the flower's going to bloom. You know it. Without a shadow of a doubt, you know that flower going to bloom. You don't want to see that. Like, you don't want to see when you have your baby and they crawling and then they walking and then they talking and then they dance and then they running. Like, you don't want to have a baby and then they blink, they 21 and they grown. You want to see the evolution from babe to toddler to, You have anything, Kevin?
You on the roll, girl. But that's so true. Don't you remember getting excited when you see them walk? Don't you remember getting excited when you see them say their first word? And you just, oh, what did he say? See if he can say it again. Or you see them cruising, just any moment now they're going to end up walking. But they're holding on to everything, trying to walk. And you're like, oh, I want to be there when they take their first 2 steps. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Come to mommy. Come to daddy. We get excited. So why can't we get excited over our own growth?
Yes.
Over our achievements.
Yes.
Over the pain of the experience that we went through to get to where we are now. Why can't we find joy in that? When you can testify and tell someone, girl, you should have seen me a year ago. You should have saw me 6 months ago.
Yes.
Don't you want to know how I overcame and to become? First, I had to believe I could do it.
Yes.
Because if you'd have asked me 2 years ago, I wouldn't even believe this.
Yep. Hey, strategic. You said not trying to disturb you with this one, but where do you think you are now, heaven or hell? I know. Think, know, believe, accept that I'm in heaven. Hell is the place I was before I awakened to the truth of my being. Hell is a state of mind, so is heaven. And you
Amen.
create your heaven, what? Through love, through joy, through compassion, through peace. That's who I am. I know that that's who I am. Now I understand, when you get on this side, it's no more going through hell to get to heaven. We already been there, done that. We did that when we didn't know who we were. And we wreaked all kind of havoc in our world through limiting beliefs, fear, doubt, worry, strain, strife, struggle, hardship. Now when you get on this side, you're supposed to let all that stuff go. And be as the Christ says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. That he has turned the crooked ways straight. Do things always happen the way I think they're going to happen? No, because it's how things happen is not even supposed to be a concept in my mind. I have absolutely no idea how it's going to happen. You learn to let that go. The reason why you keep experiencing hell because you keep trying to figure out the how. And then get frustrated when it don't happen in the way and in the time you think it should. But when you can let go of the concept of time, when you know time has no more power over you because why? It doesn't exist. And God is never late. God is always on time. It always happened exactly when it was supposed to. Always. And the key is you want to be ready. You want to be ready. See, God is never late, but you may be. Because some of us get blessings we ain't ready for. And so then we're not able to sustain them. Because we didn't dig the ditches. We didn't prepare the way for the coming of the Lord. Have you prepared the way for the coming of your Lord? Have you? Have you prepared the way for the coming of I am? Who you say I am? Are you ready to be that I am? Have you prepared the way? Have you dug the ditches and ready for the blessings that's going to pour out that you don't even have room enough to receive, but you have the wisdom to manage? That's why Solomon asked for wisdom, right? He wants to know how to manage the blessing, not just get it, but manage it.
We often tell a person, you be blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Be blessed.
Uh-huh.
Well, how do you, well, if you can say that and believe that a person can be blessed, can't you be what you want to be?
Right.
The blessed version of who you want to be? I mean, if you really believe that a person can be blessed and you tell them be blessed, which is to receive the blessing that God has for them, if you understand what that means, can't you be who you're manifesting? Can't you be? Because being blessed could mean you're healthy, could mean you're wealthy, could mean you're wise, could mean you have the relationship you've always desired. Wouldn't that be blessed?
Yes.
I'm just asking for a friend.
Yep. Yep. Stay blessed. Right, create with Mike. Stay blessed. Stay blessed, be blessed. It really is a mind game. It really is. It's really about getting the consciousness of the thing. Absolutely, Red Mama. Absolutely. Say, bless your heart.
There you
I
go.
remember that.
There you go.
Oh, peace, love, and joy. Hello, hello, my manifestation momentum. Hello. Welcome all the newbies in the chat. All the ones have entered. Greetings, greetings, greetings to all. Greetings, greetings, and greetings. Because it's a reason why we have different scriptures, and you even have Neville. You know, Neville never gave a time frame. He never said, "Oh, I can help you manifest in 24 hours. I can help you manifest in a week. I can help you manifest overnight." You never heard him, Dr. Joseph Murphy, Reverend Ike. None of this that's what's new age. Putting this time frame on it. I know we got the microwave. Microwaves really don't really cook food. A lot of microwaves just reheat, right?
Well, can I speak on that a little bit?
Yes, go ahead.
I remember when my son, he'll be 30 this year. Oh my gosh, where has the time gone? And he didn't understand manifesting, the concept of it, even though he is manifesting. Who he is that which it does manifest. He didn't understand the concept. And he wasn't sure how it actually works. And I had him watch the movie, The Secret. Also had the book. I knew he wasn't going to read it, but I had him watch the movie. Anybody can go on YouTube and view it. It's very informative. And he said after seeing it, because I knew that he needed this knowledge, this information, in order for him to make it through life and be the success that he wished and desired for himself. So he said, "Dad, so how does it work?" I said, "Well, your mom wants a blender. Get in the car. We'll go up the street to Target and get her a blender, and I'll explain it to you." He said, "Okay." So we get in the car. We're going down the street. He said, "Okay, so how does it work?" I said, "Well, whatever you hold in your mind, whatever you expect to happen, will happen." And he said, "Like what?" I said, "Like anything." He's like, "Can you give me an example?" I said, "Why don't you give me an example?" He says, "Well," he was about 15. He said, "Well, I don't know how to do it. Help me." I said, "No, you tell me, and the universe will prove to you how it works." And he says, "Okay." He said, "Well, I don't know what to think." I said, "Well, okay, we're getting a blender for your mom." I said, "How much do you think a blender costs?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "How much you want to pay for a blender?" He said, "I don't know, about $7." I said, "I know you're not, and I shared this with you before." And he said, and I said in my mind, $7? I said in my mind, not out loud. God said, "Okay, it doesn't have to make sense to me. I'm just want to show him how it works." So we finally get to the store, Target, and we find the aisle where they have the appliances, tabletop appliances. And we're looking at blenders. And he brings over this blender to me. He said, "What about this one?" I said, "Well, that's not really a name brand. Your mom probably going to want one that's a name brand rather than a generic type of blender." And he says, "Oh, okay." He said, "What's the name brand?" I said, Hamilton Beach, Proctor, something like that. He said, "Okay." So he brings one up to me, and it only has 3 buttons on it. I said, "Well, she's not going to want that. It doesn't have enough buttons. You need to be able to do crush, puree, all this kind of stuff. So pick one that has at least twice as many buttons as that." He's like, "Okay." So he goes put that one back. And he brings another one to me. I think it's a Hamilton, and it's got all the buttons on it. Really, really nice blender. I said, "Okay, that'll work." I said, "Yeah, that'll work." I said, "How much is it?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "Where'd you get it?" He said, "Down here at the end of the aisle with the other ones." So we went down there and looked, and we couldn't find a price. I said, "No big deal. We'll just go to one of those scanners that they have in the aisle and put the barcode under the scanner, and it'll tell us how much it is." So we put it under the scanner, and it kept saying error and couldn't give us the price. I said, "Well, that's strange." I said, "Well, look, let's take it to the register anyway, and hopefully the cashier could look it up and tell us how much it is." Now, we had forgot all about the $7 thing. I know I did because I didn't think there's no way you can get a real blender unless you're in a toy section for $7. So gave it to the cashier. She scanned it across the screen there. She punched some buttons, and then she scanned it again. Then she punched some more buttons, and then she scanned it again like she was having an issue. And then she scanned it again and, you know, punched some more buttons. And she finally looks up and she says, "Where did you get this blender?" And I'm thinking she's going to say, I don't know what the price is. Normally I make a joke out of it. It must be meant to be free since it can't get a price on it.
Right.
And she said, "Because when I get off of work, I need to go get me one of these blenders." I said, "Oh." I said, "How much is it?" She said, $6.99. And my son turns to look at me with his mouth agape, going, "Ah." And I said, "That's how it works." So it did come based on our expectations. And I'll even do it now. Like, let's say during a holiday season, if you don't get to the shopping store by a certain time, you almost need to park where you need a shuttle to get to the front door because there are no parking spaces. Well, instead of accepting that there are no parking spaces, not that I want, I will drive my car to a spot where I want to park, and I expect the universe to release that parking space to me, not an hour or 2 hours from now, but within a few minutes. And when I do that, and I mean, guys, have fun with this. Do this the next time you go somewhere and you go to the movie theater and the parking lot is full and you don't feel like parking all the way in the back and walking, half a mile to the theater. Go put your car where you want to park and sit there and see won't a parking space appear in a matter of moments. It happens I still do that to this day. I said, "I don't feel like parking all the way back there. Call me lazy or whatever, but I want to park right here." And next thing you know, tail lights are coming on and somebody's moving out. So yeah, is there a time on it, or it can happen in a certain time? What are your expectations? Because the universe, the God in you, is well aware of the expectations you're putting on your manifestation because you are the one that's manifesting it. Toyia, remember when you shared how you got on the plane and you said, "I'm not dealing with this for 12 hours, the condition you dealt with How long did you, after you said that, did you have to wait for that manifestation to appear?
No, it happened when I was on the flight.
Right, right then and there. And then you didn't catch it on the way back, right? You didn't catch it mid-flight going there. It happened right then and there.
Yeah, yeah,
Because that's the way it works.
yeah. And I train myself not to think about it. See, I know a lot of. I know we have to know ourselves, right? It says to know
Mhm.
thyself, right? So when I manifest, I don't need to see it. Like I don't need to imagine, like envision it in my mind, right?
Mhm.
I can just talk to myself. Like I didn't have to imagine, okay, I'm in the plane and I'm laying down and and everything. I didn't have to do any of that. I just had to speak the word.
Right.
And that's how I manifest. I just speak the word. And I know a lot of people can like visually see a thing before it happens in great detail, right?
Mhm.
And it's just awesome for them. Like my husband, that's how he manifests. He can see it visually in his mind, and
Mhm.
it'll happen almost just as he envisioned it.
Mhm.
Me, that ain't happen. I don't need to visually see it. I just need to
Mhm.
say it. I don't have to know what it's gonna look like when I said I wanted the upgraded flight to first class. I had no idea what first class was like. I wasn't like, oh, I didn't try to envision it. I just said, no, that's what I want to experience.
Mhm.
And then the only thing I did, I started to be like, oh, I wonder how they're gonna tell me. Like, no, 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 it's already mine. I just let it go and didn't think about it anymore. Because the mind will do that. The mind will want to know.
Mhm.
The mind be wanting to know, and you got to talk to your mind. Be like, nope, I'm not even gonna try to. Because sometimes well, for me, when I would try to envision, then I start putting in too many details. And I'm trying to figure out the how. So I have to like release that and let it go and just say, nope, it's already done.
When you learn to surrender control, that means you're giving total control to the manifestator. Total, complete autonomy. And they do it according to, well, she ready to have this experience. She don't have to wait, and get a clearance from a doctor to say, hey, we can't find anything. I don't know what happened. No, you got it right then and there because that is how powerful you really are. Now, the people that do experience a delay, it's unto their belief.
Yep.
If you think you got to go through this in order to have this, you have just created the law of that manifestation. And you knew in yourself that you didn't have to do anything except say it. You were like the centurion in the Bible whose servant was sick. You just told Jesus, hey, I don't need you to follow me to whoever is sick. I just need you to speak it.
Yep.
And Jesus was like, whoa, I've never seen faith like this before. And the servant was healed right then and there.
Yep.
So we all have that ability
Yep.
because thy faith have made you whole. It didn't say Kevin's faith or somebody or your husband's faith. No, your faith made you whole. It's based on your belief.
Yep. That's like when it comes to, the TikTok app. It's about what do we have faith in, right? Do we
Yeah.
want to continue with the app? Then we can't talk as though the app no longer is here, right? We can't
Mm-hmm.
speak against our desire. Like you really want this app to still be here, greater, like in Denise's live, she was reminding us 1,000 may fall at their right side, at their right hand, at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but
Yeah.
it shall not come nigh thee. Right? And she reminds us that those 10,000 are the thoughts that fall, right? Those negative thoughts, they shall fall. because they don't align with the desire,
Right.
right? But you have to be so careful, even when you're on TikTok and you're seeing those people talking about the app no longer being here. You have to like herp and scroll past that. Don't even feast upon that belief because you're creating it in your
Correct.
world.
Correct. Because it's all energy.
It's all energy.
That's why somebody said to me, I don't know how long ago, they said, "Are you kidding? Why you don't watch the news? How do you know if anything's going on?" They're like, how can you live day to day without watching the news? I said, I don't know. I just do. I don't watch it. There's nothing on there that captures my attention or that I want to have my attention towards. I just recently found out there were fires in California. And that's because they mentioned it while I was watching the football game.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I don't want that to be interpreted. I don't have any sympathy or empathy for what they're experiencing out there. But yeah, it happens. It happens.
Right.
So, but okay, the earth is not going to come to an end. Yeah, some people pass away, and I'm, sorry about that. And some people lost their earthly possessions. Okay, I'm sorry about that. But they can lose their 3D. They can't lose their life spirit. That can't be touched. It
Right.
can't be damaged. It can't be quenched. It can't be unalive.
Right. Yep. Yep. It's what you're giving your attention to. Yep.
Right. So I choose, and I have that. Nobody can make me sit down and watch the news if I don't want to see it.
Right. Right.
If I don't want that input in my brain in order for me to have to deal with that vibration. I remember working for a company, and I was, out of 150 sales representatives, that's probably in the top three. And I'm not, please don't interpret as me patting myself on the back or bragging or anything. I'm making a specific point here. And in order for me to perform at that level, any and everything that was negative, I shielded myself from it. Like if a coworker or a person or a friend of mine or whatever, who also was a top performer, if they had a bad day, they couldn't call me and vent about it because I didn't want to hear it. I did not want to hear it. And they got to the point where they understood, ain't no need to call it Kevin because he ain't going to listen to it. I always said I had a great day. And it doesn't make it, it's not based, my day being great is not dependent upon my success, is not dependent upon the success I've had in that's whether I had a sale, how many sales. I didn't measure my success that way, even though the company measured my success that way. I measured my success by how many people I was able to help. And the more people I help, which is a principle, it's a principle. The Bible says, he who is greatest among you, let him serve. The more people you serve, the greater you become. Right? Look at McDonald's. Look at their marquee. Look at how many people they serve. Now, I'm not advocating going to eat that food. Please don't interpret that. But look how many people they brag about, how many people they serve. They used to say at one point thousands, and used to say millions. Now it says billions. They
Okay, so
serve.
I do want to talk about that. Let's talk
Okay.
about So, you remember the video you sent me with Terry Crews? He was talking about serving, like the doctor only had 25 clients, and LeBron is LeBron, so
Yeah,
he's
I remember that.
serving.
Um,
I just have a different perspective regarding that.
okay.
So, to me, that was coming from a monetary standpoint, right? Saying,
Yes.
well, LeBron, he has a lot of eyes on him, so he gets to enjoy his hundreds of millions or whatever amount he makes from what he does. He doesn't only play basketball, though, right? We do know that he invests in other
Right. He's a
ventures,
billionaire.
right?
Right.
And then you have, which he compared the doctor that may only have 25 clients. And so, well, of course, LeBron would make more money because look at the many people that is watching him play basketball as opposed to the doctor who's only has 25 clients. I disagree. This is why I disagree. LeBron don't play basketball by himself. But do everybody make LeBron money? No. The same amount of people that's watching LeBron on the court is the same amount of people watching everybody else that's on the team with him, as well as the opposing team, because he doesn't play basketball by himself. And then those that own the team ain't playing basketball. They're giving a product, right? I don't agree with it's the amount it's the amount of what you do or how many people you're helping. I believe it's about who do you say I am? Who does LeBron say he is? He says, I'm King James. That's who I say I'm the best basketball player ever to play this sport. That's who he says I am. Right? And you want to assume that just because the doctor has a small practice that he can't make as much money. Says who? How do you know who the clients of that doctor is? That doctor could have 25 clients, but he could have multi-billionaires as clients. We don't know. Because it's not about what you do. It's about who you say I am. We have too many examples in this community where people have become rich just from who they say they are, not because of anything they've done. They haven't done anything but imagined that they were wealthy. And I'm only talking about wealth, right? We're only talking about it from the standpoint of wealth because that was the example he was giving us to say why one person should have more money based on why another person wouldn't have more money because of what they do. The Bible is never about anything outward. The Bible is all about everything inward. It's all about who do you say I am, and not to predicate your success on monetary value. Like, who gets to determine what success looks like? Only you do. Only you get to determine what success is to you. No one else gets to decide that. You get to determine that.
I think we're saying the same thing in a different, different way. The doctor, I don't know if that was the best example, you comparing it to a doctor.
I mean,
But
to me, he was talking about how many it was.
well, doctor gets
Because
paid.
the serving is always. I look at the Bible as talking about there's only God. There's only God, right? There's no one else but God in the world. There's no one else but God. And when you love you, you can't help but love others, right? And like you said, it wasn't about how much money you made. It was about how many people you touched, right? But the thing is that if you can only change one person's life, you've changed the world because you've changed the world of that one person. If you
Yes,
don't touch another person ever,
I
if I only serve one person all my life, if I only reach one person,
but but from a monetary perspective only, from a monetary perspective only, I sat in a conference in the Coliseum with tens of thousands of people to hear a billionaire speak to the crowd. And the way the billionaire was introduced was true wealth is measured by how many people are better off because you existed. That same guy who was introduced that way wrote Shaquille O'Neal's checks. Shaquille O'Neal may not be considered the greatest basketball player ever, but he is a pretty great basketball. He had pretty great accolades for the sport that he was in. Well, the guy who signed his checks was the one that's speaking. And the people that he helped improve their life were millionaires, thousandaires, millionaires, whatever. But because he existed, they had the type of money they had because of what he did. So I understand the principle of serving. Like I have friends of mine that owns a McDonald's. I have a friend of mine, good friend, that owns an insurance agency.
But we have to know, we have to understand it's subjective, right? It's all subjective because we live in a society where we value fast food and entertainment, where if you're in other societies, the value of that isn't placed so high, right? So I guess I don't look to the world to validate or to show me what success should look like. Right. Because yes, they're all about accumulating wealth and getting as much as they can. And I'm not saying anything is right or wrong regarding that. I just know that you can be wealthy and not necessarily. Here's the thing: we think in order to get money, we have to do something, and I'm in disagreement with that. That I have to do in order to get.
Yeah, I understand.
You know, like
I
have to be an entrepreneur if I want to experience.
You could be a stockbroker,
different type of money, right?
And not create any product,
right?
But just do stock. And become very wealthy.
Yep. Right. And who are they serving other than themselves?
Themselves, right.
Hedge fund managers, right?
Right. But that is a way of servitude, even if it's just themselves. But that principle doesn't necessarily apply to them specifically. Right. But you can use that principle to create wealth. That's just one of the multi ways of creating wealth. That's all I'm saying. Right. Not the only way, and certainly not the way that suits you specifically. That's all.
Yeah. People just have to find out what works for them and what benefits them. And there's not only one way, right? But when you say, well, if you want to be rich, you got to do it this way. That's how you got rich. That don't mean that's how everyone gets rich. No. That's how you got rich. And that's okay. That was your road, right? There are infinite ways to bring wealth into your experience. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Let's not box ourselves into saying, well, I got to do it the way the billionaires did, or I'll never be rich, or I'll never have billions, or I'll never have. You don't know where the money.
There are many roads. How it's going to come. Yeah, there's many roads. That's why we don't get involved with the universe into the how.
Yep.
We don't limit the universe into how it has to happen for us. We give over our autonomy to the universe. We surrender to the universe and let the wisdom of the universe have its way.
Yeah, and you may end up being the owner of a basketball team or a football team, or that may be your road, or you may own 25 McDonald's or whatever, that may be
Look at Jerry Jones. He bought the Dallas Cowboys.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, you can have your opinion of whether you should still own them, but he did buy them.
Hey, all of those who own,
Well, Magic Johnson owns
and sometimes that can be a stumbling block for our community, because you see, it's like, where is our representation at, right? So
Mhm.
that's a stronghold. Subconsciously, we have to be able to pierce. We have to be able to pierce that veil and create the reality that is not just a certain group of people that gets to live that life.
I don't mean to offend anybody who is a cowboy fan. Please. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because a lot of times you have to overcome a lot of collective conscious beliefs regarding who can and who can't obtain a certain thing.
Yeah, so we allow sometimes other people's belief to
Hmm.
become our belief, and then we are, entrenched into that limitation of
Yeah.
that belief because we made it and took on as our belief.
And I
But
think that the easiest way to let go of that is to you have to remove judgment. When you can let go of judgment and stop saying, "Oh, well, they only got it because of this reason, or they only got it for that reason," or that, the only real reason is because of belief.
yep,
That's the only real reason, and the only reason you're not experiencing because you don't believe you can also experience it.
correct.
We put up mental roadblocks, and
Mm.
we don't even realize it.
Yep, we are sabotaging ourselves, or allowing our thoughts to anyway.
Yeah, because we go by, well, this is what society says, or I don't see any examples of this, or like, and you that's where you really do have to not pay attention to the outer and give all the power to the inner.
Well, it's so easy for us to kind of, seesaw back and forth
Hmm.
from, 3D to being awoke to back to 3D to being awoke, that we get ourselves get confused. And we think that what the 3D is telling us is really our reality when we're the ones has to be the one to create our reality. We got to keep remembering who we really are.
Yeah. Because this is probably this time in what we call history is probably the greatest joy and also can be the greatest limitation is because we have so much information and it's how we're consuming that information, right?
Yes, yes.
And because it's so readily available and you have information coming from you from all angles
At,
24
at,
7.
at a
Yep.
ridiculous high speed level. I mean, this is the era that, you know, from a civilization, this is our first time experiencing the type of access to the data that we're getting bombarded with constantly. You
Yep.
know, I don't know if I've ever seen as many fast food commercials and prescription, drug commercials.
Oh, they out of control. I'm like,
Oh,
Lord. When you anytime I watch something, I don't care what you streaming, what regular TV streaming, it's like it's just constant. I'm like, so I have to mute it sometimes. Get up. This is like Lord.
my brother only watches football games when he records them.
Hmm.
So when he does watch them, he can bypass all the commercials.
Hmm.
And I started watching it that way because I can't handle somebody directing my brain, telling me what to think and what to eat and do this, do that. I said, really? So I don't. If I do that, I might as well be watching the news. I'm not going to do that.
Right,
I
right,
mean,
right,
I can look on my phone, see what the weather is, and know if I need to take an umbrella or a coat. So
right. Yep, yep. Thank you, A Town. Yeah, we just chewing the fat, as they say. Good fat. But yeah, hopefully everyone is being edified through this conversation. That
Yes.
it's time to expand our consciousness and believe that all things are possible regardless of who you are, what background you come from. And it really does take a focused mind. It really does. It takes
Yeah.
a focused mind.
Your brain doesn't shut off. It doesn't cut off. It doesn't, I used to say this when I was very young, that subconscious mind doesn't have a sense of humor. Whatever
Yeah.
you feed it, it takes it literally. You want to talk about something that's literal, not reading the Bible is not literal, but the subconscious mind, it is non-judgmental. It does not say, "Oh no, I'm not going to give you that. That's not going to be good for you, and you're going to regret that. And if that happens to you, you're going to feel guilty. You're going to be sorry." It just goes, "Okay." It just says, "All right. What do you want? More of that? Oh, okay. You're the director.
Yeah.
You're the executive producer. You're the one. You're paying for that production."
You say you got frustration, Sporty. Why you got frustration? I know I saw your comment earlier saying that you don't want more money and your conscious mind is telling you to get a part-time job. Wants to tell you the how and you said you're learning. It comes down to what do you really want, Sporty? What is your desire? Do you know what you want? Cuz that's the key, deciding what you want.
I hear my conscience ask me all the time, "What do you want?" I hear that question endless. Anytime a situation presents itself, it's waiting to see what I want. How I'm going to react to it is going to tell him or tell my conscious what I want. I tell my conscious what I want through my actions or reacting to what situation I'm presented with. If someone called me out of my name or called me the N word, and I'm like, who you think you talking to? Or you gonna mess around and find out, type of situation. Well, that reaction to that situation, that's telling the conscious, that's what I want. Give me more of this. Give me more of this rage. Give me more of this anger. They think just because I'm quiet, I'm not capable of this and that. Oh, they gonna mess around and find out. What they need to find out is how I handle it respectfully and out of love without tearing them down. I gave you the example about the guy who, I guess I was in his blind spot or whatever, and he cut me off. And by the time he realized he cut me off, he snatched back into his lane. And he was so apologetic and so sorry. He slowed down, rolled down his window to apologize. And I said, "Hey, no apology needed. I know you didn't see me. I touched my brakes so we wouldn't collide. I know you wasn't trying to, tear my car up, tear your car up, call an accident. I know that. No apology needed. It was a mistake and nothing happened. It was averted." Now, I know some people, personally know some people, that they wouldn't have had that reaction. And some of our listeners said, our audience would say, "Well, that wouldn't have been me."
Okay. So what will be your advice to Sporty Kayla
40
regarding
kilo.
her desires for financial stability?
Well, you have to You have to be. What I tell you what you don't want to do. You don't want to make you feel less than because you can't see the financial stability with your natural eye. If you're having some financial challenges, I don't want you to feel less than because you're going through that experience at this moment. And I don't want you to say, well, the best way I can get out of it is hold on to all my money and not let a cent of it, you know, to be a miser. You know, I'm not going to spend a cent. I'm going to keep every single bit. No, you don't want to do that. You want to let the currency flow through you. You want to, I remember, oh my gosh, I don't remember how young I was, but I think I had to borrow some money from my brother. I don't know, in my late teens or something like that, early 20s or something. I don't know. It was so long ago. And he explained to me, he loaned it to me and I gave it back to him, but he explained to me that I was doing it all wrong. The first person I pay when I get any money has to be me. Over any bills, any other financial obligations, over anything. The first person you pay, you have to be disciplined with this, is yourself. If you make $100, you got to give yourself $10 before you buy food, before you buy shelter, before you buy clothes, before you buy anything. You got to pay yourself first. When you start practicing that habit and then look at managing your obligations, that's the beginning of creating wealth because you have your mind right. You're not to be without money, you're not to give it all away either. You're not to be so frugal. I tell my youngest son, I sometimes feel like he still has his first dollar. He's 23, he's in the Marines, and this kid, not kid, this young man at 23, probably makes $100,000 a year and don't spend none of it. Or spend very little of it. It goes to the gym and he buys the protein, containers and that kind of stuff and runs, it's the Marine in him. But he can buy pretty much cash, car, whatever it is he want to do. Because I taught him you got to pay yourself first. I think he was in boot camp and he didn't have enough money to pay for his uniform. Fresh out of school, right into the military, and he didn't have any money. He had to buy his uniform and he wanted to borrow $400. And I had it, of course. $400 to me might as well have been $4. I had it, which wasn't really any big deal at all. And he was so humble coming to me, Dad, I get paid on this day, and as soon as that day comes around, that day I will have the money back to you in your account. I said, son, if you want to take 3 months, break it up into 4 months, $100 a month, and pay it. No, 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 no. You will have it as soon. I said, okay. And he did. He kept his word. But now look at him, you know. Now look at him because he understands how to handle money and not let money handle him. So if you're having financial challenges, take a deep breath, continue to work, but continue to pay yourself first. then you organize your obligations and find out which one is the most pressing, and you divide your money up accordingly. You may not even have enough money to handle all your obligations, but don't skirt. Don't act like you're not beholding a debt to them. Call and work out a situation, a repayment program, or something, and see if they'll work with you. And most of the time, if you're kind about it, they will. I always started off when I'm need something, when I'm transacting business over the phone or whatever. I always go to the individual and I say, "Hey," I said, "I need your help." And immediately, when whoever I say that to, immediately their ears pop up. Because now they understand that they are important to me. And people want to feel important by others. So I said, "I need your help." And he said, "What can I do?" And I said, "Well, first, let me thank you for your help. Even though they haven't gave it to me yet, I thank them for their help. And then I asked them and let them know what I need. And they will try to move heaven and earth, mountains and oceans to accommodate me. That's how I get so many things done. And so many people willing to do those things for me because I humble myself when I talk to them. I don't need to put myself on the pedestal. I do that to others. I don't need to be elevated by others because I'm already am. I know who I am. I love introducing them to who they are. All right, Red Mama.
Yep. A lot of times it's our concepts of money, and a lot of us have a lack consciousness
Yes.
because it truly is what you believe about money is how you're going to experience it. Now, I didn't necessarily do it the Kevin's way. I didn't do the pay myself first. I didn't do that. To let you know, there's always more than one way.
Absolutely. We just said that in our
Right?
last
Yep.
conversation.
Right. Remember, you can always right because you want to transfer the mind before you do any action because it's the mind that is going to change the behavior. Right. And so whatever you do, always do it in faith and thanksgiving. Right.
Yeah.
So it's your mindset when you're circulating your money. What's your mindset when you're circulating your money? Are you circulating your money out of fear and lack, not having enough, don't know where your next is going to come from? Is that your mindset? Or are you circulating knowing, having faith that this is that your father has infinite resources, an abundant storehouse, and knows exactly how to bring it to you because you have faith and trust in the divine storehouse. See, we think that we're the cause of our wealth when it's God is the source. You got to know that God is the source. Your conscious mind is so limited and so finite. And yes, will tell you, you got to work to get that money. And if you don't work, I don't know how you're going to get it. You got to loose that and let that go. This is what living in the end is. Living in the end says, I already have the money. How it came, I have absolutely no idea. I don't know where the money came from. Absolutely no, have no idea. I don't know. All I know is I have enough. That I have it, and whatever that amount is, see yourself as already having it. How am I seeing myself as already having it? So then you're doing this in your imagination. You go to the end and know that you are abundant. And so when you're meditating and you're falling asleep and you're saying thank you for X amount of dollars, X amount of money, for whatever amount you're desiring, whatever money you feel like that will be sufficient for you. Because remember, whatever you ask for can be multiplied, right? Now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all you ask or think, according to the power that works within you. So you can ask for a specific amount and get 5 times that, 10 times that, 30 times that, right? But we're going to go to the end and believe we already have it. So me going to the end, how do I talk now that I am this person? This is what I'm not doing. I'm not complaining about my bills. I'm not complaining about how much groceries cost. I'm not complaining about how much gas costs. I'm not even complaining about the job that I work. I'm giving thanks for all things. For all things, I give thanks. Why? Because I'm wealthy regardless of what my bank account says. Because my bank account does not determine my wealth. I do. I determine my wealth, not the bank account. Yep, those inner conversations. And and if you decide that you're going to save so much money, whenever you get paid, and you're going to put a certain amount aside before you pay any bills, make sure we give it an appreciation, not out of fear. We're not saving it as a way of protecting something or trying to keep ourselves from going broke. Nope. Yes. We don't do anything in fear. We're saving, we're not even saving, we're just we're paying ourselves first out of faith, knowing that it's more of that, or more where that came from.
Correct.
But that's not the end. You're not doing it to, because here's the thing, when you save for a rainy day, you best believe a rainy day gonna come. We don't save for rainy days. Money is meant to be circulated.
Yes.
And when you understand that law of circulation, that flow, as Kevin was saying, right? The flow of money is energy, right? Because everything is energy. It ain't just money. Everything. We're all energy. Yeah. Everything is energy, right? I know we like to say, oh, money, energy. Well, everything is energy. There's not a thing here that's not energy, right? It's an idea held in mind, and it is infinite. And it comes in what? Many forms. It may show up as dollars. It could show up as gifts. It can show up as free trips. It can show up as free groceries. It can show up in many and infinite forms, right?
And it does.
You have to be open to the way in which it comes. And yes, your conscious mind is going to tell you how to get it. That's what you say, I already got it. Why am I figuring out how to get it when I already got it? Who said I gotta do some overtime? Overtime for what? Now, if you have a desire to do overtime just because you enjoy, like, this is the easiest money I'm ever gonna make, I'll go ahead and work this overtime because, it's not to make me rich, though. It's not to put me in a better place. I'm just doing it because I enjoy doing it. Remember, we don't do things to make things happen because they're already done.
Absolutely. Toyia, to continue on your thought line there, I always saw that money is never going to be a problem for me. Yes. That I just believe that I can never be broke. That I don't have to, if somebody needed money or something from me, and if I don't loan money, I only give it.
Me too, Kevin. I don't loan money either.
I don't loan money.
And I don't give out of obligation.
Right.
I give if I feel like. and
Yep.
only if I feel like it.
Amen.
No, don't
Amen.
nobody guilt me into giving nothing.
Right. Same here. Same
Because
here.
I give it freely. I don't want no hangups. I don't do nothing begrudgingly.
Yep. I had a bad experience because a close friend at that time, and I didn't have the understanding that I do, and I had to learn this lesson, borrowed money from me. And at that time, I lent it to them, and now I know better, of course. And because they weren't able to pay me back, they felt guilty about it, and it severed our relationship. Not that I wanted to discontinue. I didn't care about the money. I cared more about our relationship. I felt like he couldn't put a price tag on, but they felt the kind of way that they couldn't get it back to me for whatever reason, and it severed our relationship. Now, I did have an experience where a friend of mine was working at a job. Him and I used to work together, and he moved over to another job, and he really liked the company. And he started talking to the owner of the company about me, which I didn't tell him to do, but he did. And it came to me and said, the owner of the company wants me to come in for an interview. And I was like, why? I'm not looking for a job. I have a job. I'm making good money where I am. I don't need to go somewhere else. I'm fine where I am. He was like, well, you're not over here with me. I want you to be with me. I said, well, look, as long as you're happy, I'm happy for you. Why do I got to be over there with you in order, for me? So anyway, I let him talk me into the owner of the company asked me to come in for an interview, and I begrudgingly didn't want to go. But I said, okay, what's wrong with exploring opportunity? That's kind of how I looked at it. Just what's wrong? There's nothing wrong with seeing what's out there. So I went to an interview, and me and the owner hit it off great. I was in his office, closed door, talking, and we just hit it off. And and I said, look, I gotta be honest with you. I'm doing this as a favor to my friend because he wants me to come work here. And now you're telling me you want me to bring my talents to your company. He said, yeah. I said, well, and I'm thinking to myself, and I normally don't ask for a signing bonus, but this particular time I was going to ask for a signing bonus. And I said, well, in order for me to bring my talents here, I'm going to need a $20,000 signing bonus. And he said, I have never given anyone a signing bonus to come to work for my company. I said, I can certainly understand and appreciate that statement, but you never had nobody like me come to your company like either. And this was a Friday. He said, can I give you my answer on Monday? I said, sure. Take the weekend, think it over. Just let me know, decision on Monday. And I didn't have anything to lose in my mind because I'm already employed, happily employed where I was. So he called me Monday morning and said, when can you start? And I'm like, I didn't think he was going to give me, I didn't think he was going to give me a signing bonus of that type of money. He gave me my own office, gave me my own processor. I mean, and without, I don't know how to say this, I was the only African American guy in that position that he hired ever to be there. And the way that he hired me with that bonus, I was the only one ever to receive such a such an opportunity as that. So along with that, I needed the autonomy to do the job the way I saw fit. And we agreed on the terms. And because the guy that I replaced, he had fired because of non-production or unsatisfactory production. And I had a chance. My friend, his office was right down the hall from mine, so we were still, kind of close, or whatever. And all the other guys didn't want to have anything to do with me. I don't know if it's because I'm new or what. I don't know, but I didn't care either. So in 2 months, I had outperformed everybody in his office.
Wow.
And he kept bragging about me to all the other guys. I didn't want him to do that. I said, hey, Tim, don't do that. They already don't like me. You just fanning the flame.
Mm.
Especially in one of the meetings that we had, he told everybody they need to do more like me, be more like me, and do things the way I did it. I'm like, oh man, talk about,
Mm.
redheaded stepchild.
Right.
But yes, I made him a substantially um, way more money,
You kidding me?
and it was pretty nice. But he held up his end of the bargain. He wanted me, and he got what he paid for.
Yes, yes, that's beautiful, beautiful, awesome.
But that's manifesting.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Because we always manifest
He always
all the
manifests.
time.
He always
Right.
manifests.
So, Dream Woman, I'm not going to be long, guys. I'll be getting off of here in a few minutes. But I did want to respond to Dream Woman and said, isn't the law of karma about giving to receive, or that God loves those who give? So, here's the thing we always have to remember the Bible's psychological is what you give consciously is what counts. You never want someone to think you're the source of their good. So, generally, when someone is asking you for financial help, I'm not saying that you shouldn't give it, but the best practice is to imagine that they already have it and let it come to them in the best way possible without you being the source.
Amen.
A lot of us, and because a lot of people will come, especially if they know you got it, they'll feel like, well, so and so got it, so I could just ask them. And then you give and you give, and the one time you don't give will be the one time, it'd be the time that they remember. They never remember the other times you helped. They only remember the one time you said no. And then now here it is. Well, you've been the source the whole time. And so now they've used you as a crutch. And now there's this thing where there's, you're having a difference now because of it, right? You're having a disagreement because of it. Whenever scripture is talking about giving, anything the scripture is talking about, it's never talking about anything you do physically. It's never talking about anything you do physically. It's always talking about what you do inwardly, right? It's about what you see, it's how you imagine a person, right? The imagination is for every facet of life, not just for certain facets. And it's for financial reasons too. It's for when you're wanting to help others. You want to see them as already being wealthy, not being in lack, because lack, there's really no such thing as lack. They're creating it in their reality because they believe in competition, they believe in scarcity, so they're creating it. The whole reason why you come into this enlightenment, this understanding of awareness, is so that you can help lift people out of their state imaginatively. You imagine that they have it, and then you're not trying to say how they should get the money. See, when you give it to them, you're saying how. Yes, that's a physical thing you could do. Remember, there's no God outside of you saying, oh, Kevin gave this person $400, so let me go bless him with double that because he gave this person $400. If that was the case, every person that tithed to their churches will receive 36 and 100 fold, and that just don't happen.
That don't happen.
It just don't happen. Because it's the mindset. You have to know that you're already wealthy. To them that have, it shall be given. And whatever you give in consciousness, it shall be given back to you. You're giving to yourself. Remember, there is no other. There is no other. There's only you in it. There's only God in the world. You help another by teaching them what? How to help themselves. And how do you teach another to help themselves? Teach them how to use their mind to create their world. That's how you help others. And you can use your mind to help manifest in their reality. You can help another person manifest as well.
I've done that. I've imagined I knew this person needed money and I knew I had it to give, not loan. And I imagined them getting the money and them calling me back, letting me know, never mind, something came through. I'm good. I was like, you sure? He said, oh yeah, I'm good. And I said, you don't have to tell me what happened. Just telling me that you're good is good enough for me. I said, well, I am good. And they would say, oh, God is so good. God is so good. But I imagined that for them. I imagined them, uplifted them out of that situation. So,
Yep. Yep. Because this is the law of mind, the law of assumption. It's about you proving to yourself that your imagining really does create reality. It is not your job to try to figure it out. Now, that is a way. That is a way. We have been working with the sweat of our brow ever since we came into this physical body. We have been earning everything by the sweat of our brow. The awakened mind now realizes all they have to do is command a thing. And now when you use your mind, you draw it to you. You no longer have to work or chase after it. Because those who are most successful in life, they're not working for money, right? And I'm talking about those who have a well-balanced mind, not though, because yes, there are people that are just working for money. I'm not saying those people don't exist, right? Most people that are working for money are usually not well-balanced though. There's usually an imbalance there for those who work and chase money. When you are doing what you love, money will just find you, right? Like I was watching Michael Jordan talk about, the last dance. If you watch Michael Jordan, right? He played basketball and he was one of the best players during his time, but he wasn't the highest paid, right? His money came from what? His endorsements with Nike. Not saying that he didn't get paid with the Chicago Bulls, but initially when he was being paid during that stretch, a lot of his income didn't come from playing basketball, but because he played basketball, right? Because he loved what he did, because he wanted to be the best at because of who he said he was, right? It's always about the mindset. But I'm not saying you can't get money from being action oriented. Of course you can. Of course we can. We see it every day. Yes, yes, yes. Of course. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. Yes, but you want to prove to yourself that you don't have to go chase money. You want to test this truth and show that money actually comes to you when you be still and know. And a way will be shown. Does that mean you won't work a job? No, it doesn't mean you won't work a job, but you'll love the job that you work. You'll actually love it. Like Kevin was saying, he enjoyed what he did. It wasn't strain. It wasn't struggle. He actually enjoyed his occupation, his career. Like you want to enjoy. You don't want to be begrudgingly going to a job. Oh, I hate my job. I can't stand this job. And you complain and you wondering why the boss don't like you, the co-workers don't like you, or everybody, because you complaining and you mad and you upset and you angry. And okay, that's not a well-balanced mind. But you still have a job. It's still paying the bills, but there's no joy in it. You just having a Groundhog Day, experiencing the same day over and over and over again with no joy, with no love, and no happiness. It's just a chore. This is what frees you from that mindset of thinking you have to chase money. You will start to get ideas where money will just show up. like Kevin's, he got an opportunity to switch companies and got a bonus because he was enjoying what he was doing already and an opportunity presented himself. Why? Because he was in the right state of mind. He had the right consciousness regarding himself and money. Doors just swing open. He didn't go apply for that job. You know, many people say, well, you can't get a job if you don't apply for it. He didn't apply for that. That job came to him.
Yeah, I never even filled out the application. That happens all the time. It happens all the time. He didn't ask for a resume. He didn't ask, you know.
You can do that when it comes to anything, Kay, because the thing is that you have to be willing to perceive the person differently, right? You're attaching a label to them, saying they're addicted to something. If we could just learn to remove labels and judgments and say right now they're in search of something outside of themselves. They're seeking for what's on the inside, but they're seeking for it out there. And that's their experience. They're experiencing something. So now you want to imagine them differently. See them whole, see them complete, see them enjoying life with no judgment. You got to take the judgment out of it. Do not judge them for their choices because it's only an experience. Support and love them and see them at their highest ideal, which is loving themselves, figuring out what it is their purpose and joy in life is. And then to the extent that you can perceive them differently, they'll show up differently because they'll show you the change you've made. You think differently of them, so guess what? They have to show up differently. But I will be having to say bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Toyia.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. No, right. No, you don't give charity to get something back. Charity should be done from the heart, which means there's no quid pro quo, right? We're not doing it to get something because somebody watching us and seeing our good deeds. No, the law of life is the law of, yes, you get because you know who you are, not because of anything you've done. That's what we have to realize is who you say I am. If I'm wealthy, then wealth must appear in my life because that's who I say I am. In what ways it manifests, I don't know. You may win a lottery. You may come up with you may be the best entrepreneur known to man. You may your business may be so well you sell it to a bigger business and they give you more $30 million and buy your business and now you can live off that money for the rest of your life. I don't know. I don't know how the wealth is going to show up. Just know it does. Once you get the consciousness of wealth, though, that's the thing that you have to work on your mind. You have to see yourself as already wealthy. And then things will just start to happen. You'll get these wonderful ideas and it will be ease and it will be flow and it won't be a chore. It won't be a strain. It won't be a struggle. It will be ease. Yes, but again, thank you so much, Kevin.
You're
Always,
so welcome.
always
Always a pleasure.
pleasure. Thank you
Always.
so much. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you again. See you guys. So I'm about to go watch some football.
Yeah, I have it turned on
And
as
I gotta
well.
go cook too. So I gotta go cook and I'm gonna watch my football.
Thanks, everybody. You're
Yeah,
all
thank you
welcome.
guys. See you guys.
See you guys later.